How's it going, everyone? My name is Patrick. I'm a diabetes coach, and I'm here to share how to have awesome blood sugars while being out on a conference and on the road. So first off, I just packed up and I'm ready to head out, and we'll share some awesome tips with you. Okay. So the first thing is, whenever someone is on the road, be sure to pack extra supplies, whether that is insulin, medications, or whatever you need for it. I have overactive bladder as one of the consequences with my prediabetes in the past, and I'm still dealing with it. And I made sure to pack some extra overactive bladder medications just to make sure I'm on the road and I don't have to go for a pit stop every 5 seconds. Instead, I could focus on driving for about 2.5 hours or for 2 hours, hit a pit stop, and I'm good to go from there. Other things to pack as well is, if one's going to be on the road for a prolonged period of time, make sure to pack a good amount of protein and high fiber snacks. And if able, check to see if you're able to bring it through TSA as snacks to be on the trip so that it can reduce the amount of carbs that's being intake while on the plane. Additionally, make sure to drink a lot of water ahead of time and pack some water while you're on the road, getting to the airport, so that one's staying hydrated and keeping their blood sugars nice and steady. All right, pulled up to a few red lights, and whenever one pulls up to this and their blood sugars are acting up a bit high, things I'd recommend is just twisting your body around, doing some trunk rotations. As you're doing it, we're starting to go. You can press the back of your head towards the chair so that you could activate the back muscles. And then another thing that you could do is called chin tucks. So you're doing a sit up with your chin and activating your neck muscles so that it can help improve the insulin sensitivity, increasing the utilization of the blood sugar so that it can lower down a bit more. And of course, make sure to hydrate so that it can help with any times that one is sweating in their car. For me, I'm starting to drive in the summer right now and I'm using a black car, so it's getting a little bit hot. So I could drink some water so that it helps keep myself hydrated and make sure that my blood sugars are a bit better. So those are some tips. And then if someone's blood sugars is a bit higher and not where they want it to be, sometimes putting on those hazard lights and driving to the side of the road to walk for a bit, do some air squats or anything in general, some movement in general, that'll help significantly in making the blood sugars more stable, staying awake for the car drive, and making it more helpful. And for myself, I live about 2.5 hours away from the airport. It's just a good time to share these tips, and it also applies for people who want to go on a road trip. So hopefully that helps, and we'll keep moving along for the next tip. Okay, we had our first pit stop for today. Just had to use the bathroom real quick, move my legs around. And for those who get up out of the car, if their butt or hips feel a bit sore, I would recommend doing butt squeezes. I did 5 seconds 5 times just to help wake up my butt muscles after sitting on it for driving around. Additionally, I loaded up on some snacks. They had a deal going on for these jerky bites, and I got 2 of them for $10, which is great. The amount of protein that I got from this is, 10 grams of protein for each ounce. There's 3.5 for each one. So 60 plus another 10. So 70 grams of protein that I'm getting just from these. And additionally, the Core Power drink. So this is an extra 42 grams of protein. And I have way more proteins compared to the amount of carbohydrates that I'm having. So it's something super friendly for those blood sugars while on the road and feeling fuller for longer periods of time. Also as a way to help replace a meal in case someone's on the road and forgot to pack some food before getting to the airport, like myself, but don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money for the airport food. There's some tricks and hacks to help out with that and to also meet those protein goals while on the go. All right, we'll keep driving over to the next pit stop. All right, made it onto the plane. Super excited for me to get to the conference. And I will say the food options in the airport, it's generally higher in carbs. So if someone's wanting a drink, try to get a diet option or get decaf coffee. Caffeine generally increases blood sugars in order to try to keep us awake. And going for the decaf option will be able to help reduce how high that spike goes. And then getting the diet-free options or the sugar-free options for the drinks, that also helps limit the sugar intake. And then score on this spot, they upgraded me to have this whole aisle by myself, which is a huge win. And then for those who are suffering a injury or a disability where they are unable to walk, I highly recommend utilizing the services to get a wheelchair to go around the different spots, because maneuvering around the airport, crazy, like so much of a distance, that I'm very grateful for the airlines for providing these accommodations and services. So without further ado, after eating the snacks, of course, getting up, moving to the bathroom, back and forth, that walking can help a lot if one is able to, or moving around. Or just doing simple body motions and twists, that can help a ton too for managing the blood sugars. All right, we'll see y'all soon for the next parts. All right, everyone. Day one has been finished up at the conference. The amazing thing about the people who've provided the drinks that are out there, they had some coffee, some water, and then for the sweeteners that they had, it was the stevia in the raw, monk fruit sweetener, and some creamers and some half and half. So the awesome part about it is monk fruit and stevia in the raw, those are great 0-calorie sugars that can help sweeten up the coffee without raising the blood sugars as much. And then for the creamers that are out there, sometimes that can cause a spike in the blood sugars later throughout the day, because fats generally convert into sugars, but it takes hours longer for that process, and that's called gluconeogenesis. And then for the coffee, it has caffeine in there, and caffeine releases more stress hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine, so that it can help us stay awake for longer periods of time and overcome the humps of tiredness. That being said, that does increase the blood sugar levels. So if one notices that their blood sugars are rising because of it, it's going to be smart to go on a walk afterwards or having a snack with that coffee. I prepared some snacks with grapes, some raspberries, and some carrots to help blunt the blood sugar response of how high would it go. Additionally, I had some water on the side so that I can hydrate myself to improve the blood sugar control and having it in a better route. So it was awesome that way. I'm grateful that they provided coffee in that matter. And then for food wise, when I went out to the restaurants, there was a place called either Protein Plus or something like that, where they had immense varieties for high protein items, low in carbs, and moderate in fat or low in fat. That was very perfect for eating out and having lunch with the people that were there. So things that people can do ahead of time whenever they're at their conferences is they could always DoorDash certain meals to them or use Instacart for specific meals that fits within their macronutrients and making sure that their fiber content is a bit higher, or making sure that they grab some food or snack supplies from the grocery store and storing it at their Airbnb or the place that they're staying at, refrigerating it, and then taking it with them for either the lunch or snacks that can help provide that extra fiber and that extra protein to keep those blood sugars even more happy with it. So those are some tips that I've utilized for the first day to make it pretty awesome. And we'll see how the next day goes and some other tips that I will share with y'all. Okay, I made it back from the conference safely and soundly, and I was able to enjoy eating out with some friends and having a good time. Whenever someone is going out to the group dinners with everyone, one of the things that I like to keep in mind is what food is on the menu that's high in fiber and what food is in the menu that's high in protein, so I can make a better option and selection to have more balanced blood sugars while I'm eating out. So some things that I looked at while I was at a sushi restaurant was looking at, do they have any edamame? Because edamame is high in fiber and has a decent amount of protein. And then I also looked at what other appetizers do they have that has that protein. So karaage, it's fried chicken that also has a good amount of protein that's in there too. Sushi, generally they have a form of carbs. Sometimes they have vegetables in there, or they just have fish on there. So it's a good source of protein, and then it's balanced out with those carbs. Then afterwards, I would always recommend with the people that I'm with to go on a walk. If walking is not available because the conference times start soon, then generally I would fidget my legs around. So here are my legs. So I'd fidget them just by going up and down, as you can see there, or I just kick my leg out while I'm out in the conference. And that way it allows me to utilize my blood sugar somewhat while I am in a seated position and have better blood sugars while I'm there. Of course, making sure that I drink water between my bites to help out significantly that way.
Other things to help out is Instacart can be used. I'm not sponsored by them, but it could be a good way to use. Having groceries that are delivered that is something that can meet our nutritional goals to have better balanced blood sugars as a way to improve that. And then, of course, for the airport rides, generally they offer foods that are higher in carbohydrates. So focus on trying to limit the amount of those ahead of time and then drinking plenty of water between then. It's going to be a great time. Anyways, I hope you all have an amazing conference, and we'll see you all in the next video.